Hey, hi guys, Happy New Year from Hawaii. It's Evan Rhodes here talking with you. I wanted to just put out a quick video for you all. It's been a long time, I realize, and a lot's been going on, man. A lot has been changed and shaken up a little bit. It's probably been about, gosh, I'm thinking 2 months, maybe longer since I did my last video here on YouTube. And I just wanted to say that all of the teachings and the learning that I did from reading books and stuff that I've discussed in my past videos is really, really good. Not my videos, but the books and stuff. And you guys can go back and check out some of the things that I mentioned before. But what I also wanted to put out there is that that's data. And I hope the video is looking good. That's data, and the data is for us to accumulate and then to fit into what makes sense for us. It's not the gospel. It's not a religion. You know, I think that if we were to take all of like the red pill stuff and just plug it all in, like a cookie cutter, plug it all in and apply everything that's there and abandon sometimes even abandon some of our core beliefs, that can be dangerous actually. And I have experienced some of that in the form of lost relationships that could have been pretty cool. So that being said, man, things have really changed for the best. I am finally finishing up on a long, like settling on a bunch of stuff with my ex, and oh, it's so good, man. It's liberating. It's freeing, and I didn't realize how much of an impact it was going to have psychologically, really, and just this feeling of peace until the mediation was done and there was an agreement. So that being said, as well. I wanted to put out there to you guys that at least in my experience, timing in life is everything. And it sounds kind of cliche to say that. We've all heard that. And at times there are things that we may be going through that are super challenging. Or we may get into something that we do as a hobby and later on that turns out to be something that provides a living for us. And for me, that's what happened. For example, I started doing Herbalife shakes, and this is not a plug for Herbalife. I started doing Herbalife shakes to drop 10 pounds, and that was 21 years ago. My prior life was in. I did a bunch of other jobs, a lot of blue collar stuff. Got into real estate right when the market was hot. Market was pumping, did really well, and then the market crashed in 2009. Started a couple of other businesses. By 2011, we were like financially just completely broke. I mean, beyond broke. About $1 million in debt with a bunch of tax liability and other things. So throughout that time, I had been using these shakes because I dropped 35 pounds and on and on and on. So 10 years go by, and now we're in crunch time. I really needed to make some extra money. And again, this is not a plug for Herbalife. This is a talk about timing, okay? So 10 years go by, I needed money, and so I thought, you know what, these products have been really good for me. I didn't get into this thing to do the business at all, but now, you know what, I need to find a source of income. So I started doing it. Fast forward another 10 years, and now with divorces and through divorces and surgeries and losing everything and then getting everything back and then losing kids, you know, and just like all of that life stuff, if I hadn't started doing those 2 shakes a day, I wouldn't have the freedom that I have today. I wouldn't have the health that I have today. I wouldn't have the time freedom that I have today to do what I'm going to say next, which is I'm going to go on I decided to go on a long sail, like a sailing race. And I don't have a sailing background. I have a lot of ocean knowledge, but not a lot of sailing experience. I've been around boats, but not a lot of sailboats, a lot of motorboats, a lot of canoes and stuff like that too. Did a lot of racing there. And so I may as well tell you guys a story. So I saw this Instagram ad, and it was of this 70-foot racing yacht. Now that I know it's a 70-foot racing yacht, I can say that, but just this racing yacht going down this giant North Pacific wave. And I was like, wow, that's amazing. And I've always been into extreme stuff, paddling or training in extreme oceans and stuff like that. And so I've always enjoyed that type of stuff. Mother Nature, just the awe of it all, and then pushing myself physically. So I just inquired and was actually feeling pretty bored with my life. It wasn't really going anywhere. Everything had kind of stalled. And so I inquired. They said, yeah, come on out. Can you, I went through a series of interviews. They asked me if I could fly out to England to go through some training and evaluation, and I did that. And ended up, it was very, very challenging for me. It was a month of sailing and learning. And came back and I got assigned the crew. So I'm gonna be racing from the Philippines, Subic Bay in the Philippines, for leg 6 of what they call a clipper race. And that's a circumnavigational race that was stopped because of COVID in 2020. So the boats are all in Subic Bay in the Philippines. So I'm gonna be racing from there across the Pacific to Seattle, and then from Seattle, that's one leg. Then we're gonna fix the boats, repair them, get them all back stocked with food and water and everything else we need. And then we're gonna sail from Seattle through the Panama Canal to New York City. That's leg 7. And then the final leg will be from New York City to the Bahamas, and then all the way back to northern England, Ireland, and then into London. So that being all that, you guys, the point is that like in the new year, we might be going through some hard stuff or whatever, and that's life. It's just something to embrace. The experiences of it all is just something to embrace. And that's what I think nowadays. Like, fuck it, I welcome it all, man. Like, it's just part of my experience, and I know that hard times eventually end. Time has a way of taking care of things. And I don't know why I'm sailing. I didn't know why I was starting to, use these shakes 21 years ago, except that I wanted to lose 10 pounds, I ended up losing 35 and 6 inches off my waist, and then that eventually turned into a business, and now I can do things, and I have some mobility. But it's just kind of interesting to me as I sit here on New Year's Day and I'm reflecting on the last year, and then kind of like how things can change pretty quickly. As long as I know what makes me happy, and we talked about this in Frame, right? As long as I know what makes me happy, and for me that's like freedom, perfect health, liberty, being able to do what I want to do when I want to do it with whoever I want to do it with, having financial freedom, being around things and people and experiences that make me laugh, that bring excitement and adventure. Like, these are some of the core things for me. Your things may be and probably are very different from what I just said. But one thing I do feel is that for the most part, people want to be healthy and they want to be free. And in order to be free and healthy, there needs to be some sort of income. And in order to have time freedom, you gotta have some sort of income where you don't have to work anymore, right? To have ultimate time freedom. So one of the red pill things that they talk about is get in the best shape of your life. So maybe for New Year's, I'm gonna continue on with that, that's for sure, right? Build my business, continue to build it. Definitely gonna do that because it kind of facilitates everything else so that I can have time freedom, go on adventures, and keep on sailing. So people have asked me recently, what are you gonna do after the race? And honestly, I don't have a plan. I sold off. You guys, if I showed you my place right now, it's empty. There's nothing here. I have a bed. You can probably hear the echo. I have a bed, I have two big North Face bags, and one is filled with sailing stuff. The other one I'm gonna put for the rest of my clothes, and I'm gonna go to the Philippines with no belongings. I got rid of it all. So it's a completely clean slate. So after the race, I'm gonna have two bags, two big bags. And I also mailed some stuff to a friend of mine in the Philippines. So I'm gonna have two big bags and a box in the Philippines, or a couple of boxes in the Philippines, and no place to go. So what I'm thinking of doing, and this is the plan right now, and it may all change, I don't know. I might hate freaking sailing after this thing, you know? I might fucking hate it. But the plan right now is that I'm gonna continue sailing. So I'm gonna probably end up buying a boat in the United Kingdom, somewhere in London, or maybe in France, or there's some good deals in Turkey and Croatia of all places. But there's boats for sale out there, and then I'm gonna sail it back to finish my circumnavigation. I'm gonna sail it back to the Philippines, and then maybe on to Tahiti and Hawaii. I don't know, but I'm gonna keep this channel, and I'm gonna use this platform still to document this whole thing. So I just bought a brand new GoPro. I hope this freaking thing is recording me still, and I'm gonna be, as long as this thing doesn't bust, I'm gonna be recording and documenting my travels and my experiences. Not from an egotistical standpoint, but just to document it. Because I mean, I don't have a very big following, but you guys, I have some new subscribers out there. Thank you very much for subscribing and following. You know, a lot of the I'm very grateful, and I'm not going to take that for granted, you guys. Thank you so much. But I think a lot of like the red pill philosophy is allowing men to be men, to celebrate masculinity. And a lot of that is having freedom. And we can't do it, you guys, without perfect health. You can't hunt without health. You know, you'll be in the cave. You know, you gotta be able to hunt. You gotta be able to go out there. You gotta be able to adventure. You gotta be able to be around other guys that are charging, that are going for it in life. You know, and that takes, these days, provision is like money. You can't eat without money unless you go dive for your own food or hunt your own food, you know, and then sell it. You still need some kind of money, currency. So, you guys, Happy New Year. I know it's kind of a long one. I've been really meaning to create a new video for this channel, and just been pondering it and pondering it and pondering. Even this morning, I was like, what am I gonna say? There's so much. And the thing is, the longer I wait, the more there is to say. So, thank you for your patience, for your patronage, for you guys following. Appreciate you. If you have anything, any questions, please ask away, and I'd be happy to answer. All right. Thank you so much. Happy New Year to you, your family, and loved ones. I hope you're well. All right. Take care. Aloha.